Hi, and welcome to another episode of Lives Between, a podcast between generations. And today we're going to be talking about making friends, and I have some guests with me. This is
Betsy Sierra,
longtime member of the church, and
Sophie.
And what grade are you in, Sophie?
8th grade.
I'd like to start with an icebreaker. What game did you enjoy playing when you were growing up?
our favorite thing to play was kickball. And we had lots of kids on my street, and so our yards kind of, we could have a really big yard. And we played lots and lots of kickball. We played lots of kick the can, which you probably don't know what that is. We rode our bikes everywhere too. And then the inside games we liked to play were Life, which it's still around. You can still play the game of Life, and Clue, and we played some cards when it was really hot outside.
Through my experience of being at school since I was K-5, I remember us playing soccer with our PE teacher, and it was really fun, and it brings back memories like flooding through my head right now. But soccer was one of them, and maybe like kickball a little bit, but I think soccer was the main one.
The first question that we're going to talk about in this is, why do you need to make friends? Or why do you need friends?
I feel like you need friends to help you through tough times. Like if you're going through something at home and or even if something not like that, but you don't feel close enough, or you just feel like you can't talk to someone who you can talk, like if you have a heavy weight on your chest, then a friend is there for you, and they should be there for you when you need them, and you can't always count on them for stuff. You have to also ask them once you're done, hey, are you okay? But that's why you just need somebody who can help you throughout everything, and you can help them back, and they can just be a loving and kind person to you.
I think for the very same reasons. You just need somebody to talk about your ideas with. I have a really good friend, and we laugh a lot. She thinks I'm really funny, and I think she's really funny, and nobody else in our lives thinks that we're funny. So we enjoy that. We enjoy our time together. And like you said, it's so good to have friends when you're going through something that's hard, and maybe your family is a little weary of you talking about it. It's good to have a friend that just will listen to you and maybe not try to fix you so much, but just kind of listen and support. And like you said, and then you're there for them too.
Yeah. Well, you're in middle school, and you've had lots of experience, not just having middle school as a person, but having kids that have gone through middle school. And then didn't you work in a middle school at one point?
I taught middle school I taught middle school for 20 years.
All right. So,
That's terrible. How did I do that?
okay, well, all right. So making friends in middle school. What is the experience, or, what, like the idea of making friends in middle school?
Well, you have to choose safely, because middle school is a tough time, and I'm in my last year of it, and I pray for anybody else who's going through it, because middle school is tough. And I feel like I had most of my friends in elementary school, but then once I got to middle school, in sixth grade, I found two of one of my best friends, and it really they brought me in like out of a darker place, and it just really helped me. But you have to choose wisely, because you will, and even though nobody tells you this, you will experience rough paths, like fake friends or friends who talk about you, but they seem like they're really good friends, but you'll have rough rocks and pebbles and sticks and everything in your path. And having a best friend going back. Like, they just really help you, and they'll be there for you if you're there for them.
That's all very true. And it's interesting to me because, like you said, I was a student in middle school. And making friends then was pretty easy. My friend group did kind of shift in middle school. It was called junior high back in the day. And your friends, you do kind of start to go in different directions, and that's okay. It's interesting when you're a teacher in middle school, making friends with other teachers. It's interesting to see how you can find your people. It's pretty easy, and I had a lot of good teacher friends.
Yeah, I think the interesting piece of what you both are saying is how you in school there is that automatic placing your classes or your activities that you do kind of put you in the right thing, but picking the right friends can be challenging because as you're growing up you change a lot and you want to be liked, you want to do well, but you have to focus on a lot of things at the same time. And sometimes the people that were great when you were in elementary school may not be quite the same anymore. So for you, you know, you're not teaching anymore, you're retired. So what is it, the experience for you having friends now outside of the quote easy, space where friends can kind of already be easy to find? How does it feel?
That's something I have struggled with since retiring, and I retired right before the pandemic. So all my plans for staying friends with people we couldn't get together. And so I think that kind of made it even more difficult. And all my friends that are still working, they don't have a lot of time to just hang out. So I've got a couple of really good friends, and I'm happy with that right now. I'm trying to kind of I'm kind of trying to find groups of people that I might have things in common with that I can kind of join with. And so it's kind of a weird time because you don't just have that automatic, oh, I'm going to work today, so I'm going to see my buddies and we'll have lunch and we'll, laugh a lot after school is finally over. So it's kind of been a challenge for me.
You mentioned sometimes there's friends that you have to let go of. What kind of, how do you let go of people that maybe aren't good for you, that may have been really good friends at some point, but what was that feeling maybe of saying this maybe is not the friend for me anymore?
Like, for most people, not all, but you'll feel sad at first, but then you'll feel relieved because now that you notice that what they were doing wasn't right, and you notice, like, hey, maybe this isn't the best, or maybe we should just stop. You'll feel like relief, and then you'll feel sad, and it'll all hit you that you made the right choice, and then you shouldn't feel sad anymore because after all, they were good friends at once, but then you just have to let the past go and look into the present. And I've experienced that, and it really does hurt. It brings you down, and it will hurt for a while, and you'll look back at them doing the same process with other people that they did with you, and it will hurt, but you'll feel a sense of relief and a sense of, it's okay, I'll find somebody just like that, but the end of our friendship will not hurt as much as it did with this person.
Have you had to let go of friends?
I think really only a couple of times. And it was just one of those things where the friendship started to cause more stress than it caused. There was more stress than benefit to the friendship at that point. And so, you just kind of have to let those things go, and you have to look out for yourself. You got to look out for your friends, but you have to look out for yourself too. And I think when you're in a friendship that's starting to cause you some stress and some heartache, you just kind of have to back away from it, I think.
So, because this is a podcast that is looking at between generations, but it's also sponsored by the church that we are all a part of, how does your faith maybe inform the way that you seek out friends or keep friends?
When I'm looking for a friend, well, mostly it's just like, is God going to put them in my life and put them in a good way to teach me or show me an example of a loving relationship, or is he putting me, or is this person just a part of my plan and then they're just going to slip out? But I feel like my relationship with Christ ties in at the way people look at me. I want people to look at me as a godly person, not just like, oh, well, she just does all this stuff and she says that she's saved, but she's not, but she doesn't act like it. I just want God to tie into almost everything that I do, but I feel like it has to tie in a good way and not in a bad way about how I do fulfill, not how I don't.
Thank you. I think that, especially in the schools, and really always, I'm a people watcher. I watch people and listen to people and kind of say, I think that we could be friends. And somebody told me in the past couple of years, I've had the opportunity to sit and wait a lot for other people. And so I would always read. I'd always have a book to read. And on a couple of occasions, other people who were waiting in the same area would come up and say, I read that book. Isn't that the greatest book? And somebody told me that's a book recommending a friend to you. And so I always think about watching, looking for little signs of, I think I could be friends with them. I think, and at the retreat Saturday, I saw so much of that, of just, listening to people and being quiet with people. And I thought, I want to be friends with these people. These are some cool, it was all women. These are some cool women that I really want to be friends with. So I like to watch and listen.
Like the idea that you even said about God's plan is that sometimes people come in and out of our lives where you might have someone that is there for a short time, and that doesn't mean that friendship is any less or more than something else. So that's really good thing to think of as you keep living and growing in your life. You had the opportunity to pretty much live in the same place your whole life, and I moved a lot, and so you don't know where your life is going to go, Sophie, whether you're going to stay closer to where you grew up or if you're going to move out, go to college and go and do life wherever God takes you, but where God puts you in life, and that sometimes our friends can even be a really good conversation one time. That's still this special thing that we hold on to, and that's part of maybe what God is putting in us, is we never know who we are going to interact with. So we're at the end, and this podcast I like to do something different. So I'm going to have you give advice to you, and you give a blessing to you. So I will start with advice. I want you to give advice to Betsy on how to have friends in this part of her life, as what you've heard and what you hope for her. And advice you could give, maybe not just to her, but to anybody that is older, that isn't in the situation where you're in school, and how you can make friends.
A good friendship relies on 2 or 3 friends, and that can make the most out of joy and laughter. And even with friends, you can still be sad, but I feel like just make the most out of it. Don't waste any time. And then just life is short, so just when you have time with your friends, like I always make sure to take pictures with it because I can always remember this and this moment forever, and just try and make friends with the people that you connect with. And even with if you're the opposite person with a friend, you can still be good friends.
Sophie, my prayer and my wish for you in this 8th grade year, what an important milestone, is that your life is filled with people who see your true self, who see the beauty in you and the intelligence in you and the friend that you are. It's those people who see that and who see you and are blessed enough to call you friend. They're the lucky ones. And I hope that you see the specialness of you. And I hope you know that we see the light of Jesus in you every day. And I just wish for you the best 8th grade year possible.
Thank you.
Thank you for another episode of Lives Between. I want to give some special thank yous first to my guests, Betsy and to Sophie. Thank you to Stockbridge Presbyterian Church for hosting this, to Presbytery of Greater Atlanta for the young adult grant that made this possible, to Anthony Mobley as our music, and to all of you who are watching and listening. Have a beautiful, wonderful day.